Tiago, they're having the big vote tonight.
What?
They're having the big vote tonight.
Oh, the vote's tonight?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, you ready? I can see.
I'm waiting for everybody to join.
Israel, what are you eating?
Who's he holding a
You don't want to know.
Was Abba playing basketball? Abba, what do you got there?
Leftover ground chicken from last week. Supper.
Nasty.
Oh, no.
Right.
Set off
Okay.
the kettle for an hour. Like
I'm muting everybody. Mute all. Yes. Unmute.
Oh. All right. It's a long block tonight. Marchuk is not on, right?
Well, let me text him.
Because I have an answer to his question.
Can I check with him if he's coming on?
It's fine. It's not on. If he's not on, he's not on. Anyways, let's chazer meanwhile. Yesterday's chazor from the last block and a half.
Mute us.
Daf Lamed Dalet. So we discussed the chazan makes a mistake. Then we said the chazan shouldn't answer Amen but Berachos koyanim. And then we said if the chazan is the only kohen, what should he do? Gemara says he shouldn't duchen. And then we said you need to turn down davening for the Amud. You have 3 times to turn it down. Where to go back to when making mistakes in davening? Meaning, is it beginning of Shemona Esrei, middle of Shemona Esrei, davening too long or too short, and when to bow on Shemona Esrei? Then the Gemara on Amud Beis, Lamed Dalet Amud Beis describes different ways of bowing down. On the knees, flat out, leaning on the side. Then we had a new Mishnah making a mistake in davening. Different things that need, right? 1 second, no, I messed it up. I should have said that in the Gemara. Right, the Mishnah discusses making a mistake during davening, and then that's going to affect who you're davening for. And then the Gemara said different things that the Nevi'im spoke about, like what's going to be Olam Haba. Machlokes about what Olam Haba is. I should really fix that. Stories of davening going smooth, being a simmer, being healed. And then we had the new parak, Daf Lamed is brachos and different foods, and then a whole amud of how do we know that brachos have to be made. We came out with that the bottom line is that it's brachos at the Rabbanon, and we only make brachos because it's a svara. It doesn't make sense that we can enjoy things from this world without praising Hashem for it. Okay, so we pick it up on the bottom of 5 lines up. Oh, so we had brought up that he said that Moshe Rabbeinu didn't have to daven with Miriam's name, right? He said, right, you don't need, because he didn't mention Miriam's name. So what most places can say is that that's only when you're in front of the person you're davening for. That's when you don't need their name. When you're davening for the person when you're not in front of them, then you do need the name.
Really?
Yeah, that's what the Magen Avraham says, and that's what others say. Although there are others that say you shouldn't use the name because it's actually a bad omen on the person. If you're gonna daven for them, that means you're already assuming that there's something wrong with them.
Let's say you don't know the name. Can you say like the person that you're davening for?
Yeah. You can use. There are those that say you can use regular last names, secular names, whatever it is. Yeah. Either way, Hashem knows who you're davening for. So that's yeah. All right, ready? Zok the Gemara. Tana 5 lines of Tana Bana. Also, Ladam Shiahan, right? Lamed Hamad Aleph on the bottom. Tana Bana. Also, Ladam Shiahan and Olam Azebala Bracha. A person is not allowed to benefit from this world without making a bracha. B'cholanenim and Olam Azebala Bracha Mal. If anybody who's nana from this world without it is over on Meila. What is Meila? Meila is when you use something from Hektish without unauthorized use of Hektish. My takante. What is the takana? Yelech etzel chacham. So you go to Talmud Chacham. So Gemara asks, Yelech etzel chacham. My Ovid, what's a chacham going to do for you? You already made a bracha without thanking Hashem. What's a chacham going to do for you? You already did an issa. You go before that. You do preemptive. You go to chacham preemptively. And he'll teach you all the brachas today. You don't come to make be over on this. Anybody who benefits from this world without making a bracha is as if he's nana from Kadshe Shemayim Shenemar Hashem Aretz Maloya. It says Hashem, everything in the world belongs to Hashem. Rav Levi Rami Ksiv Hashem Aretz Maloya. Rav Levi asked the kasha. It says Hashem Aretz Maloya, everything belongs to Hashem. Uksiv Hashemayim Shemayim Lashem. Ba'aretz Nasan Lebnei Adam. That Shemayim belongs to Hashem, and the world He gave to people. So, is this world Hashem's? Or is this world ours? Lakasha kan kadem bracha, kan la'acha bracha. One is before bracha, one is after bracha. Before a bracha, it all belongs to Hashem. After you make the bracha, then it becomes yours. Right? Yeah. Oh, Landau joined us. Okay. We just discussed Me'ilah, which is what we learned this afternoon, by the way. Yeah. Amar Rab Chanina.
What I missed? Whatever.
You missed about Me'ilah. We just learned about Me'ilah, which we learned this afternoon. Anyway. Amar Rab Chanina bar Papa kol hanenem min adam zeh b'lo bracha kilu geizel hakadosh baruch hu knesset Yisrael. If you benefit from this world without making a bracha, it's as if you are stealing from Hashem and from Klal Yisrael. Shenem geizel ava ve'imay. V'aymer ein pashay chaver hu leish mashas. Ve'ein ava ve'lakadosh baruch hu. Shenem aloi hu avicha kanecha ve'ein imay ala knesset Yisrael. Shenem shema b'nim musar avicha v'al titash taras imecha. Right. So you see from this that when it says Goizel Aviv Imai, so Aviv is referring to Hashem. It's lavin in the person.
Yeah. Right there. Okay, here's another one.
I can't get up.
Right? So we just answered your question about davening for people. Okay. Anyways. Okay. Anyways. So father is referring to Hashem and the mother is referring to Klal Yisrael. My chaver hu leish mashas. What does it mean? He's a chaver to a person who destroys. He's a chaver to Yeravam ben Nevat that he was machdi Klal Yisrael to not be from anymore. So therefore, you're the same thing. If I mean, it's a little harsh. If you don't make a bracha, you're considered like Yeravam ben Nevat who misled Klal Yisrael and made them do all sorts of averos.
Yeah,
I don't know if I understand
I
that
looked into it
comparison.
a little bit because if you don't make brachas, people don't learn from you or something.
Okay, whatever it is.
Said it. When was it?
Fine. Right. Reb Chanina bar Papa Ramiksiv. Treat
it lightly and neglected.
You didn't look into it. You looked at the art scroll.
Yes, I mean.
Okay, that's not called looking into it. I'm sorry to say that the art scroll looked into it. Okay. I have nothing against the art scroll. I think it's a good thing. I don't say I'm looking into it. What?
Shiloh. When you say you're looking into a Shiloh, does that mean you're just looking it up in art scroll?
No. But I would look at art scroll to see what they have to say. I'm not embarrassed to say that. They're definitely a player in the thing, but I was looking into it. All right. Okay, yeah. Fine. Maybe I would Google it if that's called looking into it, maybe.
I didn't mean it like that.
Anyway. Rav Chanina bar Papa Rami ksiva lakachti t'gana be'ita ksiva sachti t'ganecha. Right? It sounds like the first pasuk sounds like lakachti, right? It's Hashem's. V'osafta t'ganecha sounds like it's yours, right? Your grain. Lo kasha kan bezman she'yisrael oisin ritzon shamakom kan bezman she'en yisrael oisin ritzon shamakom. When Klal Yisrael does the Ratzon, so then it's theirs. When they're not doing it, then it really belongs to Hashem. Okay, so now we get into one of the more famous philosophical disagreements in the entire Shas and in the entire world, or whatever it is. Turn on, but you can turn on that light, you'll have much more light. Turn on, it's in the hole. No, the other way. Yeah, sorry, I just realized it's off. Yeah, so turn on. What is Vasavda Neva teaching you? It says don't remove the Sefer Torah from your mouth. So you would say that you have to deal that with it the way it's written. You have to have the minig of derech eretz, meaning you would think that you should never stop learning. So that's why it says your grain. That means it's your grain because you dealt with it, you planted it, you gathered it, you did whatever it is. That's what Rabbi Shmuel. So Rabbi Shmuel is basically saying you got to work and you got to learn. Rav Shimon Yochai Amar Efshar Adam Charish B'Shas Charisha V'Zareh B'Shas Zariya V'Kartzu B'Shas Katzira V'Dash B'Shas Disha V'Zara B'Shas Haruach Tyra Matela. Meaning, let's say you plant during the planting season and you plow and you cut it and you gather it and you separate it and you throw it into the wind when it's windy. Meaning you did everything right. What's going to be with your Tyra? Tyra Matela Ela B'Zmanchi. So if Klal Yisrael is behaving themselves and they're doing what Hashem wants, and the malach is going to be done by others. Shenemar v'amdu zarim v'ro tzaynachim. Was man she'ein Yisrael lo'esim l'tzayn Hashem malach malach t'nasas ha'idei atzman. And when Klal Yisrael doesn't behave, then you're going to have to go out and work. Shenemar v'savti l'ganecha. You have to go gather your own grain. Not only that, but the Yidden are going to have to go do the work for everybody else. You're going to have to work for your enemies.
We just use v'savti l'ganecha when we're doing Hashem's will.
What?
V'savti l'ganecha is when we're doing Hashem's will.
Why?
That's what the pasuk is talking about.
Who says? He's not learning like that. Rav Shimon is not learning like that.
We say Shema. No,
yeah, but that's part of the Machlokes here. He's saying that that's only going to be when you're going to, if you behave yourself, then somebody else is going to gather your grain. That's what Rav Shimon is learning. Right? What? I think somebody's talking about. Are you saying something?
You not hear me?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I said liner sounds like it's liner, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the kash is a good kasha. The pasuk says straight out. You do what it says. You keep the Torah, you keep the mitzvahs. Then the bracha is that right?
Right.
So the Torah is saying it's a good thing.
It is a good thing, meaning you'll have it. I think if you don't behave, you're not going to have it at all.
Okay.
If you don't behave, you're not going to have it at all.
Okay.
I think that's what it means. But
that is what it means. But I'm saying, but I hear
that's not what you said before.
What do you mean?
Before you said that the Safed was more in a negative.
No, it's positive.
No. What do you mean? Well, it's a machlok. It's a machlok has had a dash in it, right? Rabbi Kiva, Rabbi Yishmael is dashing a Safed the Ganecha. They go hand in hand. You gotta work and you gotta learn, right? Right? That's Rabbi Yishmael's way of it. Rav Shimon is saying that no. He's saying you are going to have to gather your own when you don't do what Hashem wants.
Right.
Right. So you're saying, so in Shema, it sounds like if you're going to behave yourself, then you'll be able to gather your stuff. Right. But if you really behave yourself, you won't be the one to have to gather it. Somebody else will gather it. Okay. I think that's where Shema is learning it.
So you added another gather, that's all.
I don't know how else to understand the pshat. Right?
I like the kasha.
Who's playing video games or whatever? Yeah. I mean, there's a Tosfos, but Tosfos is not really addressing that. Okay, with that, we'll see. Yeah. Maybe that is Tosfos kasha. See the second Tosfos down. He says, "Vim tamer l'kamon bezman she'ein Yisrael eisen ritzana shamakom mekminan lei." Right? We said that's talking about when they don't do the ratzon shel makom. That's when we are saved to go. We are showing the money with the vade she'osim ritzana. Aval ein osim ritzana kol kach te'enim tzadikim gemurim. Somewhere where they do it, but they're not doing Hashem's will the way they're the ultimate. I think that's what he's saying. I think so. I don't know. You look at the Tosfos, you decide yourself. Anyway, let's go back to Amar Abaye. Harbe also could Rabbi Yishmael, but also be Adam. Right? Many have done like Rabbi Yishmael and it worked. Rabbi Shimon also be Adam. And many did like Rabbi Shimon and it didn't work. Right? So that's a pro-working comment from Abaye. Abaye is saying there are those that learned and worked and everything, and it worked out. And he said they did like Rabbi Shimon, which was they just sat and learned, and it didn't end well. Okay? Amalei Rabba Rabbanim Matusam means please from you. Yomi Nisan Yomi Tishrei Loisis Chazo Kamoi. During the days of Nisan and Tishrei, don't come to me. Kihechi delighted Tardu B'Manazaichu Kulei Shato, because if you're going to bother me, then I'm not going to get my work done, and then I will not be able to. I won't. Meaning that's during Nisan and Tishrei. Rashi says Nisan is the gathering time, and Tishrei is when they did the wines. And if you're going to bother me, then I'm not going to get my work done. I'm going to have to work a whole year. Like this, just I'll work in Nisan and Tishrei. The rest of the year I'll sit and learn. So it seems that the Gemara is leaning towards you got to work and learn, right? Because it brings two Gemaras after the Machlokes, Abaya and Rava, both of them, who they normally argue. Both of them seem to be being pro working and learning. Just my 2 cents. Okay.
What was that?
How did they learn this in Lakewood?
I have no idea.
What was your 2 cents on this?
But I'm not worried about saying it because it's on YouTube, so nobody in Lakewood's going to hear it.
Oh.
I'll say it. I'll be first to
There
say
you
it.
go. Okay.
But I think actually Rava was telling them that Rava was actually telling them that they should go to work, not that Rava himself was going to work.
Well, Rava himself wasn't he?
No, Rava himself was very poor. The Gemara in the end of the Masechta is going to say.
Okay, so what?
No, I think
Maybe
I thought he was
maybe
talking
the
to
shot
them,
is they were
telling them to work.
How did it text me?
I bet
But
you.
I don't understand something. I want to have a question.
What are you saying,
maybe the
Elio?
shot is they were talking about their wives.
Oh, very good. Very good. I hear. Ishbek Kagufai, right? We're going to put that in there.
I beg
That's
of
it.
you.
That's it.
Yeah.
The Matusba Benachla, I beg of you.
Yeah.
Please, Mani Nisan of Zona Tishrei. Light Techze Kaimli. Do not appear before me.
Right. Why?
Ki Hechi, the light, so that you will not be preoccupied with substance in the entire year. So you will not be preoccupied with your substance in the entire year, which I don't
Oh,
understand.
so Stroil, see, that's the way the article seems to be saying it like you. Right? I thought they shouldn't bother Rava for Rava's sake. The article is teaching it that they shouldn't bother Rava they shouldn't come to Rava for their sake.
Rava,
Oh, you're right. But
apparently meant
Mizanaichu, it's
that the
plural. You're
opportunity
right.
to learn-
Yeah, but Mizanaichu means
to learn
yours,
the
not
Bible,
mine. Yeah, you're right. 100%.
presented
I
itself
made a
during these
mistake.
months. To
Right.
neglect the opportunity, they would not meet.
Yeah, that's
support
pushing in the diktuk. Yeah, but
So one second, isn't that because of this manim that Rav Shimon Bar Yochai was talking about, Trisha, planting, all that?
right. So what? Bottom line is they have to work. It's not like Rav Shimon Bar Yochai.
Right, it's not like it.
Not like Shimon. They're both right. So both are buying Rav, not like Rav Shimon Bar Yochai.
And my thing is here, but I don't understand it. They do bring it.
Okay, so I'm gonna fight. Right.
So
We got to get moving. Yeah, I'm gonna Rav Bar Bachana. I'm gonna Rav Yochanan Mishum Rav Yehuda Bar Ilai. Borei Shalai Kedaris Rishonim Daris Achrona. The earlier Daris were not like the later Daris. Right, the earlier generations not like the later generations. Daris are Rishonim Asu Teras and Kevam Malachtan Arai. The earlier generations, their title was their main thing, and the Malach was the temporary thing. Zubazu Niskam V'Yodan, and both worked for them, meaning that they had Torah and they had Parnasa. Daris Achrona Shasu Malachtan Kevam Teras and Arai. Zubazu Loi Niskam V'Yodan. They do the opposite. Their work is their main thing, and their Torah is their temporary, and they have neither. I don't even know who that is. Rav Yochanan Mishum Rav Yossi Bar Ilai. I don't know.
The same one as before.
Right?
Yehuda Bar
Rav
Ilai.
Yochanan Mishum Rav Yehuda Bar Ilai. I'm sorry. Borei Shalai Kedaris Rishonim Daris Achrona. Daris Rishonim Hoya Machnisim Perisayin Derech Traxam. The early generations would bring in their fruits through the regular way. We had this last week, right? In order to be Chayv Meiser, you got to bring it through the front door. If you scam the system, then you'll get out of taking Meiser because you're going through the sunroof or whatever it is. So the early daughters did it the proper way. The later generations are not interested in doing all this, so they'll take it in through the roof, through the yard, and through the karfif, through the empty fields, in order for them to be potted from Meiser. Tevel, right, which is unmeisered grain, is not chayiv until it sees the front of the house. But Rabbi Yochanan disagrees, and he says a yard will be kaveya and would be chayiv in Shumas HaMeiser. And you have to eat in your gates, and you'll be satisfied. Okay.
You worry how it's going to play out on YouTube and other communities about coming through the sunroof and stuff like that?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say which community.
Okay, so that's the end of that. I got it. And now we start with heavy-duty hilchos brachos. Okay, this first part is easy. The next order is a little bit complicated. Chutz min hayayin. So except for yayin we make butter priyagofen. Right? Ma'ishno yayin. Wakam yayin gets better priyagofen. Ilim shem to ishtin ililuya. Ishtin ilibrachos. So since it gets changed for the better, so ishtin ilibrachos, and then it gets changed for bracha. Right? Because now you take from grapes and you make wine. So wine is obviously better than grapes. So therefore we shouldn't make a different bracha. Oil, also the oil is much better than olives. Olive oil is much better than olives, and we don't change the bracha. Damar Rav Yehuda, Amar Shmuel, V'chein Amar Rav Yitzchak, Amar Rav Yochanan, Shemen Zayis L'Vrachan Alav B'Rei Priya Eitz. On oil you make a bracha B'Rei Priya Eitz. So why don't you? So Amri Hasam Mishum Delay Efsha. Because by olives we don't have a way to improve the bracha. Hechi nevarach. How should we make a bracha? Nevarach b'arei priya zayis. Right? What should we say? B'arei priya zayis. Per gufei zayis ikri. The fruit itself is called the zayis. So that's not much different than the regular bracha. Nevarach aleh b'arei pri 8 zayis. Why don't we say b'arei pri 8 zayis? Right? That would work. Yeah. So that's not a good teretz. Ela marzutra, a different reason.
Why is it a good teretz?
No, so I'm saying so. He slugged up the teretz. So we could make a different bracha on olives. We can say
and hagafen.
8 zayis. What?
And when we make hagafen on grapes,
right?
Isn't the piri itself called a gefen?
It's called what?
The piri itself is called a gefen, right?
It's called yeah.
How do you say grapes in Hebrew? Geffen?
So we changed the bracha for a geffen also.
It's on novin, but it's on novin, right?
So what's geffen?
What? No, but you bury pre hagafen. Is he created the pre hagafen, right?
The same thing. So bury pre azayis.
Right, but he couldn't say that because, but I don't think we call. Is that the name that we call it, a geffen?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
No, we call it it's not called geffen. It's called isn't it a novim?
Maybe.
There's another word that the Torah uses, not geffen.
But that's the song for tonight.
What?
A novim.
Oh, a novim. Yeah, very good. Yeah. Anyway, so we can't. So it's not going to work. So we're going into another teretz. Elam Arzutra Chamra. Is that what we're up to? Yeah. Elam Arzutra Chamra Zayin Chamra Zayin. Wine feeds you. Mishchaloi Zayin. Olive oil doesn't feed you. I mean, it doesn't satisfy you. Mishchaloi Zayin. Oil doesn't feed you. But somebody makes a neder. He's not going to eat food. Mutter b'mayim. That he's mutter to drink water and to eat salt. Mayim melech is not called eating. Everything else is called mazon, which includes
olive
oil. Name the Rav Shmuel. Let's say this is a kasha stira to Rav and Shmuel, that they say that we don't make bar minim mazanos only on the 5 minim bavad. He's talking about anybody who said, if somebody says anybody who feeds me, I'm mishcha zayin. So you see that oil does feed. Yeah. Ella chamra soid umishcha. So now we'll say a different teretz. Chamra soid. By the way, the rule in Shas is always when it says Ella, that means it's erasing everything it said till then, and now we're starting from scratch for a new teretz. Ella chamra soid umishcha loy soid. Wine, it satisfies you, meaning it's like a seuda. Mishcha loy soid. So when it says v'chamra misad, does wine really fully make you full? But Rava have a shasi chamri kol mali yami de pischa. Rava drank wine a whole erev Pesach. Right. So, and so he wanted. Who was it? Rava drank wine a whole erev Pesach because that would make him. What do you call it? How do you call it when wine is a? No, appetizer. It's like
it whets the appetite.
Whets the appetite. There you go. Thank you. Right, wine whets the appetite. He says so. Have it a whole erev Pesach so that you'll be hungry for matzah. Right. Yeah. So what? Matzah. I'm sorry. I v'neichel matzah. Period.
Yeah, but Yaakov, then he's not going to be excited for the wine.
Right, but the main mitzvah is not wine. The main mitzvah is matzah. But that's a good question. But but the main thing is that you be hungry for the matzah. Right? So,
Actually, the more wine you drink, the more wine you want to drink also. So it doesn't work.
There you go. Okay. So Tvei Tuva, clearly.
From experience.
Right? So Tvei Tuva Gar, I went too far before. Tvei Tuva Gar, right? When you I'm sorry, matzah Tvei, question mark. More answers, Tuva Gar, put aside. A lot of wine makes it act as a appetizer, purta aside, but only a little bit will make you full. Misad klal, does it make you full at all? Right? Yain makes a person's heart happy, and bread makes them full. Namahu decide, so bread makes you full, wine does not. Elachamre is tarti. Wine has two things: side samech. Right, as we all know, wine will make you happy and full. Bread will only make you full, not happy. If that's the case, then you should say to the Berachos Hamazon, right? So on wine, yeah. If it satisfies you like so much, then we should do it like bread. So my answer is like coffee and cheese to the side. No, nobody sits down and says, okay, let's have a meal of wine.
Now.
No, it's still nobody makes. That's not a suda of wine. They use it.
Except for Achashverosh.
What?
Achashverosh.
Well, I don't know. Was it a total suda of wine, Achashverosh?
Cool.
That was a Mishnah Yain.
I know, but I always thought it was just part of it. So it was the main thing was wine, but there was also food there. I don't know.
They do cheese and crackers with wine, but that cheese and crackers.
It's never wine, right? It's not a meal.
But wine can fill you up. I mean, like that's what they just said a second ago.
So maybe it changed. I don't know. Let's see what the Gemara says that. Let's say you are kaveh, you see on wine. So then what would be the din? When Eliyahu Navi comes, if there were to be a kvius, then it would be fine. But hashta, even if you did have wine, your das is bottle. Even if you had a meal of wine, your das is bottled to everybody else. Okay? Kufa. Right? Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Shmuel, V'chein Amar Rav Yitzchak, Amar Rav Yochanan, Shemen Zayis.
Why do we change? Why do we have a bracha, a guffin, and not anything else? Not zayis.
Because it doesn't feed you. Doesn't satisfy you.
And wine
that's the maskana. Yeah.
Okay.
Right? Doesn't satisfy you at all. Wine, oil. Kufa, Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Shmuel, V'chein Amar Rav Yitzchak, Amar Rav Yochanan, Shemen Zayis, V'rachan L'Bayra Priya Eitz. On Shemen Zayis, you make a baruch v'yayitz. If you're just drinking the wine, that's damaging. If you drink shemen that belongs to truma, then you are chayiv the keren. You're not chayiv the extra fifth. If you did it by mistake and you did truma, you're not chayiv the extra fifth. But if you anoint yourself with oil of truma, then you have to pay the keren. Keren is the base fee, the water was worth, plus a fifth. Meaning, so obviously wine is damaging to you, so there's no real benefit from drinking. I'm not wine, I'm sorry. Oil. Ella, the ka'achel.
You're saying that the real thing is not to drink it straight, is to use it for other things.
Yes. Ella, the ka'achel al yidei pas. Must be he ate the oil with pas. So if that's the case, then everybody should understand. We should say this kasha. Pas ikr. If that's the case, and you're eating the oil with bread, then the pas is the ikr, and it's tough. Right? When you're eating two types of food, you make a bracha on the main food and not on the I don't know how you say the word, tuffle, the secondary thing. The secondary food. So the oil is obviously secondary to the bread. So you wouldn't make a bracha on the oil. You drink it through with this anigron. It's a type of food that has oil in it. That's what Rashi says. Anigron maya, the silka, and the sigron maya. Right? If somebody has you put in what's it called? Silkas, beets, right? Or some beet, that type of food. And the sigron maya, right? The kulu shalpi, that the whole thing is boiled. Yeah, so it's beets. He puts beets.
Which alcohol is added into.
Yeah, see. So that's okay. So whether it's part of an ingredient as part of some sort of soup. Right? Right? If that's the case, it doesn't really answer us because then that means the anigron is the ikar, the soup is the ikar, the shemen is the tuffle. But tanan zekla koshu ikar b'may tefillah v'varcha the ikar part is the tefillah, like we just learned. You always make a bracha on the main thing, not the tuffle. It's talking about somebody who's having a sore throat. The Tanya choshesh b'groino lo yarenu b'shemen tchila b'shabbos. If you have a sore throat, you shouldn't put oil into your throat and like let it sit there. I guess gargle it. I don't know if Article says gargle, but with that you don't do that on Shabbos. But what you could do
What's
is you
tchila b'Shabbos mean?
what?
What's tchila b'Shabbos?
Meaning we don't want you doing that. Tchila, l'chatchila. Right?
Oh, not in the beginning of
Not at the
Shabbos.
beginning.
Okay.
No, didn't mean tchila Shabbos. Anytime in Shabbos, just don't do l'chatchila. Right? But what you should do is put a lot of oil into the sanigron soup and then baleya. Meaning what you're doing is you're taking the medicine and you're making it as part of food. Right? Sometimes we'll tell somebody who doesn't really need to take medicine on Shabbos, put it into food and eat it as part of the food, and then it's allowed. Right? It's better to put it into the food before Shabbos, but then it would be allowed. Either way, Shita, if that's the case, it's pashit. Now the same akiv into little fool kamachabe and lo devar klal. So you would think that you don't make a bracha on the oil, right? Meaning what you're doing is you're taking the oil, you're putting it into this anigron, and since now it's mostly oil, so now the oil becomes the ikar. So now you're going to make the bracha by the priya eitz on it, right? So then the one says, okay, it's pashit, then of course you're going to make by the priya eitz. And when it answers mouth the same akiv into little fool kamachabe, and since you're doing it with refuah lo devar klal, then don't make a bracha on it at all, because as we'll learn, that you don't, if it's something for refuah where you're not really interested in eating it, then you wouldn't make a bracha. Since you're going to get hana from it, then you are going to have to make a bracha. Right? This is what you say, like with cough drops and all that stuff.
You make a bracha on Advil?
Good. What?
Advil?
You make a bracha on Advil?
Yeah, the real company. It tastes good.
Yeah, but that's not. It tastes. First of all, that tastes good. By the way, might be treif. So you're doing that, then maybe you shouldn't be having the Advil. But
okay.
What?
So what do you do?
Taking it, you take it with a drink. So why don't you make a bracha on the drink first?
Well, if you only take, you might not have to make the bracha on the drink either, parrots, because if you're only having the drink for the medicine, then you don't make a bracha on that.
Yeah, you don't make a bracha when you take the water for medicine.
What are you saying? Right.
You don't make a bracha when you take.
You wouldn't make a bracha on that. Yeah. But there, I think in the Advil, I think that you're not interested in the good. Nobody has Advil because they say to themselves, "Oh, I'm going to enjoy taking an Advil now," for the taste.
But my kids are willing to take it.
I understand. That's because they don't wake up in the morning and say, "Okay, I want an Advil because it tastes good." They say if they have to take medicine, they'll take the Advil.
What, children's Advil?
No, regular Advil. I give my kids.
He's probably talking about liquid, whatever that tastes like cherry.
No, I'm talking about the regular pills.
I'm talking about the pills.
Because only the name brand.
Only the name brand tastes good, right? And I tell people not to take the name brand because since it tastes good, that taste good might be trace.
Yeah, but only the name brands work. So.
Good. I never knew that.
Yeah.
Apple tastes good.
What? Yeah, it does. It doesn't come. It's sweet.
Yeah, but only the name brand works.
It has a coating. It has a coating on it.
Yeah.
Legit, only the name brand works.
Okay, I don't know.
And for sure works faster.
Okay. Fine.
All right, I'm muting Israel.
Kimcha dechidi. Okay, this is a long Gemara. This is a long Gemara, so I need you with somebody to follow along the article because there's a lot of weird words here. If you don't mind.
Okay,
you don't have to follow in the article. Just
it takes me too long to get across. I don't.
Kimcha dechidi.
What's that? I gotta find.
I could follow. I could do it on the iPad.
I know the iPad. You hit the button.
Kimcha dechidi, right? So, flour, wheat flour. Yes, Rabbi Yehuda Aimer Bayre Pri Adama. You make a Bayre Pri Adama on that. Rabbi Nachman Amar Shahakol Niya B'Dvarei. You make Shahakol Niya B'Dvarei. Now, what Kimcha dechidi is a Machlokes Rashi and Tosfos, right? Rashi says that it's pure, just the flour. What we're saying, eating plain flour. To which Tosfos doesn't like that because he says you wouldn't be shy to make butter bread. It doesn't taste good. Nobody eats plain flour, right? He's talking about that's it's like it was toasted a little bit. The flour was toasted, in which case Tosfos is saying that tastes a little better. Okay, whatever it is, but we'll see. Yeah, so Kimcha, the truth is, this is like a lot to halacha l'maisa and how to make brachas on different types of things, but this Amud not as much. Again, Kimcha and the chiti, whatever it is, flour, either it's roasted, not roasted. Rabbi Yehuda Amar Pri Adam, Rabbi Nachman Shahakol Niyeh B'dvarei. Rabbi Nachman says Shahakol, yeah, which is where we paskin. Amalei Rabbi Nachman, Lo Yisiflik Aled Rabbi Yehuda. The Rabbi Yochanan and Shmuel come and say, don't disagree with Rabbi Yehuda because Rabbi Yochanan and Shmuel both hold like him. So Amar Rabbi Yehuda, Amar Shmuel, B'chein Amar Rabbi Yitzchak, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Shem and Zayis, Mavarchan Lo B'rei Priyetz. Olive oil, you make a bracha B'rei Priyetz. Amma Avgav the Ishtani, the Milsekoi, even though you changed it, so it still retains its original bracha. Hanami Avgav the Ishtani, the Milsekoi. Even though you changed the wheat to flour, right? So that's why you would think it changed it to Shahakol. They're saying, no, it still retains its original bracha, which is B'rei Priyadam. Right? Mm-hmm. So that's what Rava told to Rav Nachman. So Gemara says, is it similar? Hasam, let's say achrona. By shemen, there's nothing more you can do with oil. Once you make it into oil, that's the end of the road for it. But by flour, it's not the end of the road. The pass, you make it into bread, right? So it can be upgraded. Right? Is it that you trying to say that you don't make B'rei Priyadama if you can upgrade it? Only make Shahakol? Amar Rav Zera, Amar Rav Masna, Amar Rav Shmuel, Amar Shmuel Ekra, Chaya, V'kimcha Desari, V'varchina Alayu, Shahakol Niyeh B'dvarei. What Ikra Chaya is what?
Raw pumpkin and flour barley.
Okay, raw pumpkin and Kimcha Desari is flour barley. V'varchina Alayu, Shahakol Niyeh B'dvarei. On those you make, on them you make Shahakol Niyeh B'dvarei. My love, the Chiti B'rei Priyadama. So wouldn't it be that Chiti would be part of Priyadama? Because if Chiti was Shahakol, then why do you have to say barley flour is Shahakol, right? Just say wheat is Shahakol, and then of course I know that barley is Shahakol, right? Wheat is obviously much more common. It's much more common to have wheat.
Well, isn't barley considered like
it's one of the five?
Yeah, but it's Michael Behema to eat it raw.
Right.
No, so but you wouldn't make a bracha on the bachlal.
No, but here we're talking about where you're going to eat it for yourself. So you'd make a shahakol, right? But if regular flour would also be shahakol, so then say regular flour is shahakol.
Why did it say beef? Must be it's not.
Must be regular flour is hadama, and
barley is,
yes, but like for what you're saying, because barley is less of a food than regular
so
flour.
The fact that she said akra chaya with kimcha desari, said kimcha desari instead of regular kimcha.
Correct.
The shahakol then must be regular kimcha is bar priyadama.
Correct. That's what it was. I love the chiti bar priyadama. So we say loy the chiti nama shahakol niyeh b'dvarei. No, chiti is also shahakol. V'lashmina the chiti the kol shekain desari. So then why do you say wheat and then kol shekain barley? Yes, meaning the chiti. When you would say chiti, how about minahanim the chiti? That's only by wheat. Avot the sari loy the barach le'ah klal. Right, like you say, don't make a bracha on sari at all. Right. Kamash malon that you make a bracha shahakol on Kamash when you make a shahakol on both. That's what the Gemara is answering now. Umi garim melech v'zamis. Is it worse than salt and zamis is what do they call it?
Let me see zamis. I lost you here.
Zamis is like brine.
Brine.
Oh, the zamis right here.
Brine.
Brine. Yeah, brine.
I'm a shahakol niyeh b'dvarei. And on those on salt and zamis you make shahakol niyeh b'dvarei. So why not here too? So is this worse? It's again, this is all in the opinion that you make shahakol on flour. So you say it's right. So salt and brine people put into the mouth. But wheat made out of barley, since it is difficult and can cause intestinal worms.
Right. Wow.
That's what Harsha says.
Yeah.
I probably looked it up before. Don't make a bracha on it at all, because who would ever want it if it gives you worms? Teaches us that since you have enough from it, then you do make a bracha.
So
Okay.
you make a bracha on something that's not edible?
What?
To make a bracha on something that's not edible?
Mom just referred to it.
If you're getting hana from it, then yes. If you get hana from it, yes.
Because you're physically being satisfied by it somehow, even though.
So we're gonna have to see. Keep that in mind. Keep that question in mind, because we're gonna have to see throughout the parak if with this rule. If you would make a bracha on something that damages you. From this Gemara, it seems that you would because you're benefiting from it.
Well,
It tastes good.
we're talking about, there are vegetables that
It tastes good. It's saying
you.
you get hanaf from it. What?
There are vegetables that are damaging to you, and some things aren't edible. Raw potatoes are not really edible.
Yeah, so we're gonna to keep it in mind as we go through the parak, because we'll have to see how what this rule is. This is why Ketzer Bevarchen is a very difficult parak. It's just very hard to pin down the rules for different types of foods. Right? It seems like seemingly what one they say one food is no bracha, when a similar situation say no, this food is a shahakol, this food is hadama. It's very difficult to pin down, especially when we're learning this fast all the rules. I was thinking maybe one of these days this week after we should just maybe go through Kitzur Shulchan Aruch and Hilchos Brachos just to get down to the practical. Doing Mishnah would be way too long. Okay, anyways, weiter. Koira. So Koira is this a famous thing. I'm not exactly sure how the Metzias works. I should have Googled it. Koira is hearts of palm. The question is this hearts of palm? There is a big issue of what bracha you make on hearts of palm. Yeah? So it's all based on this Gemara. Koira. Rabbi Yehuda Bar Priya Adama, Shmuel Amashakon Yibadvarim. Right? So Rabbi Yehuda says you make a Bar Priya Adama, Shmuel says Shahakon Yibadvarim. Rabbi Yehuda Bar Priya Adama, Peru. Obviously, he holds it, it's a fruit. Shmuel Amar.
So why not Bar Priya?
What? I mean, it's a vegetable. It's a vegetable. Shmuel Amar Shahakon Yibadvarim. Since at the end, what happens with the hearts of palm is that it eventually will become part of the tree. So then, therefore, you can't call it growth that you would make a bracha by Rabbi Yehuda. Right, shinana means
sharp one.
Yeah, okay, sharp one. Like you is a sort of meaning. So Shmuel, it's interesting Gemara. Shmuel and Rabbi Yehuda having a machlokes, and then Shmuel tells Rabbi Yehuda, "You're probably right." Now, at the end of the Gemara is going to say we paskin like Shmuel, even though Shmuel said to Rabbi Yehuda, "You're probably right," or "You're right." The svar is like you, still we paskin like Shmuel. Go figure. Anyways, Shinano Kavasef Mustaber. That's 9. Soifil Ach is a radish. In the end, it's also going to get hard. Again, I don't know what the Metzias is. And a radish, we say Barapiyadam, but it's 9, not the inchia, died to the pugla. But it's not a raya. And this is why we paskin like Shmuel. Shmuel himself told Rabbi Yehuda this raya to back up Rabbi Yehuda, and then the Gemara is slugging it up and is saying it's not a raya because it's 9, a radish. People plant that a died to the pugla that they plan on picking it while it's still soft. People do not plant palm trees in order to get hearts of palm out of it. Right? They plant it to have a palm tree. Right. So just because you cut it off in the middle and it's soft, that's not enough. And that's not enough to consider it a vegetable. And whenever somebody doesn't plant it with that das, then we're not going to make the bracha on it. At least by Priyadama. Slaf, they're not the inchia the pircha. Slaf is what?
Caper bush.
Caper bush. Okay, that I think I'd rather go with slaf there. I understand what it is as much as I understand what a caper bush is.
Okay.
Yeah?
Is that capers? Capers
I don't know.
People eat.
Capers is a fruit? I thought capers like a type of meat.
Keep going.
Okay. All right. Slav, the nati inchi adaited the pircha. Slav, caper bush, the people planted adas, the flowers.
For the caper berry.
Growth, the berry, okay, whatever grows out of it. But it's not mine nitzvah ala olin vala tmuras. I'm a bar priyadama. On type of nitzvah. Nitzvah is what? That's tlaf, right? That's what Rashi says. Hala olin vala tmuras. I guess you're right. Caper is a fruit. Yeah. Hala olin vala tmuras. I'm a bar priyadama. On the olin and the tmuras, which exactly what they are. The olive and the leaves. And the tmuras are inside the leaves.
Like outgrowths.
Right? I'm a bar priyadama. Vala v'yainos vala kafrisin. I'm a bar priya 8.
And the berries
and on
the
husks. Fruits, on the actual fruit.
The berries
and on the kafrisin is the cover of the fruit. They
husks.
call it husks.
Husk cover.
Okay, that means like on a peanut. You have the peanut and you have the cover of it, right?
The husk is what they use. That's the lashon of outside the corn.
Corn is
wrapped
husks.
in
Yeah.
husk.
So I'm a bar priya 8, but obviously it can't be corn because who eats corn and who eats the peanuts? So it's got to be a different type of husk.
Mm-hmm.
What are you making bar priya 8s on that?
Right,
seemingly not edible. So it's got to be something more edible than that. Either way, some of them are not the inchia died to the shusa. Dikla, not the inchia died to the kura. Right? Slav, people planted on the das to have, to eat it.
To eat everything
With
that
the,
sprouts.
to eat, you're gonna make a challenge out of it. You're gonna eat
Right,
everything,
that comes,
right? But Dekel, you're not. The Kalsi Shmuel, Rabbi Yehuda, Shmuel. Even though Shmuel praised Rabbi Yehuda, Halach is still like Shmuel because clearly Gemara is going with the when we upshlag.
So we make shahakos. So why is it machlokes?
What? He still there was a machlokes.
No, we said now to machlokes and palm.
Oh, what's the pshat? I think hearts of palm. The question is, are they grown for the hearts of palm? I imagine all those cans of hearts of palm is not because they that wasn't the kavanah to grow it in the first place. I think that's the pshat. So I'm gonna
I thought that the hearts of palm is different than this case.
That could be too, but so I don't know. I thought the
machlokes hearts of palm is if it's a adama or a eitz.
Is that the issue? Are you
sure?
Text
That's what I thought.
Let me text the halacha bracha hotline. You know about
So
the
Rabbi
bracha
Couch,
hotline?
I discussed this. I watched all the YouTube videos.
This guy text you get a bracha
about how they make hearts of palm.
Immediately.
Any time of day?
Any time of the day.
It must be a computer system, no?
It is. I'm trying to figure out. I emailed the guy to find out how I can do it myself. But
So Yaakov, isn't this connected with the same shadow of orange juice?
What do you mean how you do it yourself?
It's not. The orange juice shiloh is going to be later on.
What do you mean how you do it yourself?
The orange juice as well. It's the same type of thing. Is it grown with the intent of making
or what bracha you would make on a coffee bean, right?
You never did it.
What?
Is coffee shakal or adam?
Some of the songs don't like doing it. They're afraid. I didn't forget.
Oh, so you're right. Here. It
I'm
says,
more
you're right. Here,
comfortable
according to the Star K, according to the Star K, you make ha'etz. According to the OU, you make hadama. Because the trees are planted for the palm.
I have to make a hadama.
Bracha after eating, of course, it's
popcorn's a big machlokes, right?
Yeah. It's all machlokes. Okay. Right. Yeah. Amar Rabbi Yehuda Amarav. We got a while to go here. Amar Rabbi Yehuda Amarav. Tzlaf shel arla b'chutz la'aretz. So tzlaf of arla and chutz la'aretz, which is the rabbanon. Zarek, right? Arla in Eretz Yisrael, the rice, and the chutz la'aretz is not. Zarek is of yonis, v'aychel the kafrisen. So you throw away the avyonis, and you could eat the kafrisen, meaning the kafrisen, the husks don't have to be part of the dinam of arla, which is you can't eat it for the first 3 years. Lamemer the avyonis peri kafrisen la peri. Do you mean to say that avyonis is a fruit and kafrisen is not a fruit? Or mina las gestira mina nitzva ala alam ala tmura is aimer by priya dama. Pal avyonis ala kafrisen aimer by priya eitz. Right. So you see clearly that kafrisen is fruit. Udama Rabbi Kiva, he goes like Rabbi Kiva. It's not Rabbi Lezer Oimer. Tzlaf misasa tmuras v'avyonis v'kafrisen. Tzlaf, you have to give meiser on the tmuras and the avyonis and the kafrisen, all the parts of it. Rabbi Kiva Oimer ein misasa el avyonis b'vad. You only give meiser on the avyonis b'vad, but not on the kafrisen. Meishu pri, because it's a pri. So therefore it's a machlokes. Machlokes tanoim. B'neima halach Rabbi Kiva. Why don't you just say that halach is like Rabbi Kiva? Meaning you're saying the same din as Rabbi Kiva, that you don't have to do arla on it. You don't have to keep the halachas of arla. So why don't you just say the halachas of Rabbi Kiva? Yeah, Rabbi Kiva, you would be given an Eretz Yisrael, Kamash Malon, that there's a rule, call a Mekel Beretz, halacha Kamois B'chutz L'Eretz. Whoever's the Mekel, when it comes to a Shaila of Arla in Eretz Yisrael, where it's the rice, so we're going to automatically pass in like him in Chutz L'Eretz, where it's the Rabbanon. However, Eretz, but not in Eretz Yisrael. We name halacha Rabbi Kiva B'chutz L'Eretz, the Chol Mekel Beretz, halacha Kamois B'chutz L'Eretz. Instead of saying your own din, why don't you just say halacha like Rabbi Kiva and Chutz L'Eretz? And because whoever's makel in the Eretz Yisrael, halacha is like in the Chutz L'Eretz. Yamarachi havamina hanimi legabi ma'aser Elon. The Beretz go with the Rabbanon. Avagabi arl the Beretz with the Raisa. Aim of Chutz L'Eretz nami nigzar. You would say by ma'aser Elon, right? That in Eretz Yisrael it's the Rabbanon, right? Shumas and ma'aser really is on vegetables, not on fruit. But the Rabbanon say it goes on fruit too. But by Arla in Eretz Yisrael with the Raisa. Aim of Chutz L'Eretz nami nigzar. We should make a gzeira. In Chutz L'Eretz Atu Eretz Yisrael Kamash Malon, it's also not. So that's why he said his own din. Ravino Ashka Ashkri Lamarba Ravashi the Kovzark of Yonis Vakal Kafrisen. He was throwing away the Yonis and was eating the Kafrisen, right? Meaning because he was obviously holding that Orla does not go on Kafrisen. Amalei, my dad of Rabbi Kiva the Mekel. What's your das? They go like Rabbi Kiva's Mekel 11 Marka Beishamai the Mekilit Fei. Why don't you even go like Beishamai, who's even more lenient than Rabbi Kiva? The Tanat Slaf Beishamai Yom Kalayim Bekerem. Shammai says there is climb in a vineyard with slav, with this caper bush. and they're both mother and chayiv and arla. So then hagufa kasha. It's itself a stira. Amit slap b'shamim kalayim b'kerem. Ama min yerekus. You see, it's a vegetable. Padatani elu v'elu moedim shechayiv arla. Ama min ilanu. Right? Meaning, if it's kalayim b'kerem, then it's a vegetable. If it's not chayiv and arla, I'm sorry, if it's chayiv and arla, then it's a fruit because there's no arla on vegetables, right? Holoi kasha, that's kasha. Beishamai suki misavul. Beishamai wasn't sure. So they went l'chumra both. But according to Beishamai, it's a suffik arla. It's not suffik arla. But it's Yisrael also. So you motiv b'chutz aretz yared v'lekeach. Ubavachli yerenu like you can go down and take the fruit as long as the owner of the field doesn't see you taking it, right? Now the reason for that is because if he sees you taking it, then it's a lechatchila, meaning b'di'evid. If you took the fruit, then it's going to be allowed. So why don't you just go like Beishamai, who wasn't sure, and then you're in chutz la'aretz, and therefore you're fine on everything. Rabbi Kiva, Makan Rabbi Lazar of Din and Kava say when is Rabbi Kiva with Machlokes Rabbi Lazar, we do like him. Beishamai Makan B'Sil ain't a Mishnah. Beishamai Makan B'Sil is not even a Mishnah, so therefore there was no way he could rely on the kula of Beishamai. Typically, the Nasa Shomer Lepri. So now we start a different sugya. Maybe why don't we say that the reason why you have to have arla on it is because the kafrisin is a protection for the fruit. Meaning, even though it itself is not fruit, but it protects the fruit. So therefore, if it protects the fruit, it's chayiv and arla, right? Typically, the nasa shomer lepri v'rachman amar v'raltam alasa es period es a tafel leperiod. Umayni you shomer lepri anything that's the tafel So how do you touch tafel? It's secondary. Secondary is a good answer. Good, thank you. The secondary to the fruit of mind you shomer lepri. So marava heichan amrina the nasa shomer lepri heichan the ise bein betalish bein mechuber. That's when do we say that it's a protection for the fruit? That's what it stays on there, whether it's attached or whether it's detached. Sort of like, I guess, a peanut. Here, when it's attached, it's on it. But when it gets detached, it's going to fall off. So therefore, it's not a protection. Hey, so if I ask the kasha on that answer. Hey, so if I pitma shal rimoin, the pitum of a rimoin mitzdarefis. It's when you have tumas oichlin, which we did we learn that? We didn't learn it yet. Tumas oichlin has to be the size to make something tummy. It has to be the size of a riman. So does the pitum of the riman, the part that sticks up?
One seed or the
no, the whole thing. The whole thing. for certain aspects of truma, we'll get to it. Of tuma, we'll get to it, but not today. Saying a little bit of advice. Hopefully, you remember this by then. But the pitma shall riman mitzdarefis. The pitum is part of the riman, but a net shaloi ain't mitzdaref.
What's the nets? And
the nets is how do you touch it?
I'll look it up.
It's the same thing as a kafris of Yonis. That's what Rashi says. Okay, meaning it's the same. Basically, it's the same shaila. A kafris, which is what we're handling with.
It's nets.
Yeah, it's
not
nets.
going to be nets.
So a net.
12. One second, that's 12. The nets which grows around the pitum.
Okay, so it's an added piece there, but it's basically the same thing as a kafris, which is what we're handling.
Probably what the husk is to the kidberry.
Yes, that's
both
what Rashi
protect
says.
the fruit, but fall off while the fruit is still attached.
Right. So v'netz shaloi ein mitzdaref. In the Gemara, netz shaloi ein mitzdaref. Amud delav oichalu. We say that the nets doesn't combine with the riman. That means it's not food, right? The tani gavi arla klipe riman v'netz shaloi klipe gozav agarin chayam arla. But by arla we say that the peel of the riman and this nets and the peel of a goizim and their seeds are all chayav and arla. So you clearly see it's a stira in itself, whether it's considered part of the fruit or not. Right? When does it become b'shem? That's when it's there, when the fruit becomes ripe. High kafras lesser b'shas gemar pera, but the kafras already fell off even before it becomes ripe, so therefore it's not included. Any, it's not true. Now we're going to shlug that up too. Ba'amar of Nachman Amar Rav Hani maskli the arla. Asri, Halvanasu Shamil Lepri, Shamil Lepri Amos Havi. Right, this maskuli the arla. How did I touch that? It's also some. It's also kafras. Tani maskuli the arla asiri. They're also Halvanasu Shamil Lepri, since it's meant to be a Shamil Lepri. Shamil Lepri Amos Havi. The kufra. When is it a Shamil Lepri? Kufra, right? When they're small. So it's called the Shemer Lepri, even though it's only there when it's small and it's not going to be there when it falls up. So Rav Nachman has agreed. It's not Rav Yossi. Smader Osam Mepnei Peri. A smader, which is the unripe. It's an unripe. Okay, it's fine. A smader is grapes.
First word on the line is Rav Yossi.
Right, grapes that are not fully ripe. They're all Osam Mepnei Pri because it's considered a fruit. Pligi Rabbanon Alei, and the Rabbanon disagree with him. Right. So therefore, what? Right. Yeah. So therefore, it's considered part of the fruit at that point. So therefore, it's still part of Arla. Did the Rabbanon disagree by other fruits? When can't you stop? When are you no longer allowed to cut down trees by Shemitah? All the trees, once they start growing, right? Not growing, I mean the fruits start growing. Right? Carob seeds, mamash and yonah diyoma. Mishayish for sure.
Monday.
Yeah, from when they start rooting. Kfanim mishayigru, and kfanim is another form of they start getting a little more. But that we're going to see weiter what that is. And olives when they get the nets, like we've been referring to, which is, by the way, the same word as netzacham, right? Nets. It's like the little bit of
the beginning.
Yeah, well, which is why some people call it hanetz. People call it hanetzacham because it's not the nets. They consider this hanetz. Okay, because that's the word hanetz. And other trees is when it actually comes out. Who baiser, who garua, who pulalavan. Whatever is baiser is considered garua, and that's pulalavan. Pulalavan sagadailu. You mean pulalavan?
White bean.
Could it be pulalavan, right? A white bean? Ela ema shiurik pulalavan. It doesn't mean it's a white bean because we're not talking about white beans. It has to be the size of a white bean. Okay. Machamalei damar baiser in smadalai. Who's the one that says baiser in, right? Smadalai, meaning that the unripe not rabbanon. It's the rabbanon because tani shakali and especially yitziu. And they said all of the trees you have to stop cutting them down once they go out. So clearly the shear is not that size. Now, okay, Ella, like we said before, Ella Marov is now a total new teretz. Again, getting back to the original question is why the kafrisin not considered arla, right? The kafrisin, the outer thing. That's with all this Gemara. Let's go back to the original question, right? Why is it? Right, for me too. That's when you take away the shomer. Mayas pera, right? When you take away the shomer, and if you take away the shomer, the fruit will die. Right? But here, if you take away the kafrisin, it's not going to die. Fine. Have a uvda v'shakul lenetz the remaina, v'yavish remaina v'shakul lepircha. The baitisa v'kayim baitisa. If they took, there was a story where they took away the nets. Here it's not calling the nets; it's calling the nets of the riman. The yavish remaina v'shakul lepircha. They took away the riman dried off, and then they were able to take the growth. The baitisa v'kayim baitisa, but baitisa, they took it away and it stayed. What is baitisa?
They removed the husk of the caper berry and the berry survived.
Right, so it's another. Gemara uses a million terms of this caper berry, but here's a new one, right? Baitisa, which is the same thing, and akayim baitisa, the baitisa lasted. So clearly you see that the kafris and the shomer doesn't have anything to do with actually protecting the fruit because they took it away and it works, right? Okay, and they erase. Well, okay, since it's in parentheses, we'll jump down to the next. Okay, next sugya, palpuli. Yeah, this one's a little easier than the previous one.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, palpuli. Peppers. Yeah, not peppers. Not peppers. Pepper means pepper spicy. Yes.
Peppercorn.
Peppers. Rav Sheshes on a shahakol. On peppers you make a shahakol according to Rav Sheshes. Rav Amar like klum. No bracha on peppers. Okay. Moshe German, so that's maybe it has to do with I got to pay attention because this maybe is your kasha. I know you're paying attention. I'm just saying maybe we have to analyze whether this deals with your question. Was the Rava Tamei Damarava Kas Pilpuli B'Yom Kippur Potter? If somebody chews on pepper on Yom Kippur, I don't know why anybody would do that. So they are Potter, clearly, right? Because you Potter probably because you're a shaita. No, but that's not the right. You Potter from Karas. I mean, it doesn't mean it's mutter. Potter is Potter Aval Asa, right? Kas Zangvil B'Yom Kippur Potter, and if you do Zangvil, which is also something sharp, ginger, it's sharp. On Yom Kippur is also Potter. So clearly, you see that Rava is saying it's not a food, and that's why you Potter, even though you chewed it, right? Right? That the fruit you have the orla fruit. Any dash eitz meichelu. Does that not tell you that's eitz meichel? Elamatam alam eitz meichel. Lahavi eitz shatam eitz periya shava. It comes to tell you that included in orla is a fruit that its wood and its growth is the same taste. Which one? What type of fruit is that? Pulpulin. That's pepper. And it teaches us two things. One, that pulpul you're chayav in arla. It also teaches us that Eretz Yisrael is not missing anything. Shenemar Eretz Yisrael loyvim maskenos toichel balechem loysech sabah. Right, it's a land that there's going to be no missing of any sort of fruit. So whatever it is, you see from this, you have a stira, because here he's clearly considering pepper that has arlu, which means he considers it as a fruit. Like kasha, the one's talking about when it's moist, the one's talking about when it's dried out. Right, so when it's dried out, it doesn't have that in. Right, we said that if you chew Zangvil on Yom Kippur, you potter. Right, how did they touch that? Hindu is from India, but what's Hamlasa? Rashi says Lutra Bilaz. I don't know how they would touch it. It's some sort of porridge or
electuary that comes from the land of the Hindus is permitted.
Do they explain what it is? It's some sort of it's some sort of like
made with ground
paste,
ginger and honey.
All right, it's a paste.
How do you read this? This electuary?
Who cares?
Electuary, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I'm not good at English.
Hi, Hamlasa. You could be very good in English. It's
not a regular word.
Hi, Hamlasa. The Asim Be Hindu Shari Yomavarchan La Bayr Pri Hadama. Right, which obviously it has ginger in it. Yeah. So is ginger a fruit or not? Like kasha habarativta avivash, the same teretz. One is when it's moist, when it's fresh, not fresh, when it's liquidy, and then one is when it's dried out. Chavetz kedera, v'chein daisa. So chavetz kedera, it's sort of like a daisa, and these are common foods that the Gemara discusses about. It discusses like a husks.
Daisa is porridge or something.
Porridge and oatmeal, that type of thing. One's made out of milk, one's not made out of milk, whatever it is. I guess not. The problem is you can't just say whatever it is, because you're trying to learn out what bracha to make. So you can't just throw it under the rug. You got to figure out what it is in order to know the halacha. Okay. Meaning, because it has wheat in it. The question is the wheat the ikar or not? Right? So the daisa grade the kuli amalei pligi the barim rezonis. When it's just this daisa, which is sort of like oatmeal, then it's barim rezonis. Keep pligi with daisa kein chavetz keder. It's when it's daisa mixed in with this milk and all this other stuff. Right? Rav Yehuda Amashakol Savar Duv Sheikar. Rav Yehuda says it's shakol because the main thing is honey. Rav Kana Amar Barim Rezonis. It's Barim Rezonis Savar Smida Ikar. He holds that the smida, the flour, is the ikar. Amar Rav Yosef Kavasei the Rav Kana Mistavra. It makes more sense. The Rav Kana, the Rav Shmuel, Damar Devaru, Rav Shmuel both say Kol Sheyesh Bechameshes Aminin V'Varchan Lo Barim Rezonis. Anything, right? And we know this rule. Anything that has any of the 5 grains in it gets the automatic. It trumps everything. And that anything with the 5 grains would automatic barim mizonis, even if it's a minority. That's why cholent with a little bit of barley and all that. If you can see the barley, then you're going to make a mizonis, even though the cholent's got potatoes and meat and water and all that type of stuff. Anything. The basic rule is anything that has mizonis in it, it goes first. Okay, that was a long one.
That's it.
What?
Unless it's just for a binding, right?
Who?
If it's just for a binding, it doesn't.
Right. So if it's just right, you're right. If it's just for a binding, then it's then it's not as yeah.
But we're going to get to Iker B'Tafel much later, right?
Who?
Almost over. So
Iker B'Tafel much later.
Yes, Iker B'Tafel is much later. It can't be much later. We're already 2 blot in, and the whole parak is 8 blot. But yeah, this week, Bez Hashem.
Well, it's a tough one, yes.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
That's the start.
All right.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. A good Vach and a good Yar.
Well, good you are. Wow, starting early.